All right, I've got 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to get it started. Welcome, everybody, to the latest and greatest Constant Contact Product Solution Provider updates. Hope everybody's well today. Just quick introduction here. My name, if you don't know, Matthew Montoya, Partner Enablement and Training Manager with Constant Contact. I know most of you at this point, but if you want to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Matthew Montoya _ and of course, M Montoya at Constant Contact, ways to reach me. I am crazy excited today. Well, I'm crazy excited about everything we have to share today, but I'm crazy excited today to have Paul with me. Paul's Group Product Manager. You're getting stuff from the product team today. How you doing, Paul?
I'm great, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
I'm really excited to be here as well.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm really excited about what you're going to be sharing with everybody. We've got a lot of stuff. I hope you're excited too, everybody. We have an action-packed hour for you. So right now we're in the introduction. We're going to go through, if you look on the right-hand side of the screen, and I don't know why that's paused. There we go. Thank you. Let's see if this updates. There we go. So now you can see Paul's lovely face and my, whatever face. So you can see our agenda on the right-hand side. Got the introduction we're in right now. Then we're going to go into features that have been recently delivered. We're going to talk a little bit not only about how those features work, but also how you can incorporate them into your business to make more money and help your business grow and help your clients. Then the big part. Paul's going to be showing stuff coming soon in the pipeline. You're going to be really excited about what he has. We got Q&A, and I'll be sharing some program updates as well. Just as a reminder, if you didn't hear me say it at the beginning, we are recording today's webinar. Oh, thanks, Carolyn. We are recording today's webinar, and we'll be getting a copy out to everybody. So let's get underway. So let's first talk about what's new. So these are going to be things that we're going to talk about that are in product now. Now, some of them are maybe a few months old. Some of them are week old. But I want to frame them for you in a way that will help you, as I said, help your business. And let's go ahead and frame everything around the new editor. Those of you that have been listening to my webinars or attending live events, either with me or with Jenna, we're pretty passionate about the new editor. I'll go back to a story I told when the new editor was launched. I wasn't a big fan of the new editor when it was first launched. I saw lots of things that were missing and it bothered me, but boy, after getting it in front of customers and watching people interact with it, watching people who had never used email editor in their life jump in and start using it really opened my eyes. And over the last year, I'm glad to see you like the new editor. I like it too, Lisa. After the last year of not only watching the product get new additions and improvements over time, but also just watching small business people use it, nonprofits use it, I am a believer, and I hope you're a believer too. So a couple of stats here that I think you might find really useful. The first one here, first-time users prefer creating emails with Constant Contact 4-to-1 versus the top competitors. And, if you happen to see the competitive webinar that I held a couple of weeks ago, maybe about 2 months ago, one thing I would encourage you to do is try the competition, try to build an email and see how difficult it can be. And if time is money, well, then, we're costing small business and nonprofits time, or even you time, then you're might be losing money. First-time users prefer creating emails with Constant Contact nearly 10-to-1 over MailChimp. Again, try it. Try to undo in MailChimp. It's a fun adventure. Compared to top competitors, 72% of first-time users find Constant Contact's email editor the easiest to use. And when choosing between email editors, first-time users are much more likely to recommend Constant Contact than MailChimp. When we think about that word recommend, well, that's helping your business grow. So if you haven't already, and I think I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, if you haven't adopted the new editor in doing one-on-one consults, growing your business, certainly using the product in your business, I encourage you to do that. And of course, all the templates are mobile friendly. And I'm going into this because all the features that I'm going to show in my portion of the webinar are tied into the new editor. So let's talk about, this is going to be high level, just the agenda of what I'm going to show, and then we'll go into each piece. We're going to start off with social posts. Now, I know that this is probably not too new for many of you. You may even be using this in your business, but I want to frame it. And for those of you that haven't been using it, I want to frame it and talk about how it can help you grow your business. We're going to go into some features around the block editing and particularly around the text editing. There's something really kind of hidden in that that's going to help the product grow further in the future. Image padding, I know that that's something a lot of people have been wanting to remove or add padding to images. Well, that's there, but we're going to also talk about the background, the ability to change the background, and why that makes Constant Contact different than the competition. Filter by lists, helping you help your clients by filtering lists in the reporting. We're going to go into integrations. Hopefully you've seen the Shopify app in Constant Contact. We're going to talk about that and all the integrations we have. We've got an addition to the mobile app. I don't know how many of you use the mobile app in your pitches or in your business, working with your clients, but if you haven't, you might not have all the arrows in your quiver that you deserve. The marketing calendar. Now we're starting to get really exciting. I am crazy excited about the marketing calendar. It is such an incredible addition to the product, and I think it's going to really help you leverage Constant Contact to help your business grow. And the donation block. And I'm going to show the donation block, not only how it works, but also give you insight into where our developers, where our product folks are thinking about the product. So let's go ahead and get underway. Let's start with social posts. So give me 1 second, and let me get Constant Contact over here on the screen. All right, here we are in Constant Contact. So I don't know how you've missed it unless you've not been in Constant Contact for a while, but we do have an additional tab up here at the top, Social Posts. So just on a high level, and then we'll dig into how it works. So Social Posts allows folks to schedule social media posts and tweets, etc. And, one thing I feel like I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, many of you probably use social media editing, social media scheduling tools, Hootsuite or similar tool. But if we think about having this ability in Constant Contact, well, you have a broader tool in Constant Contact to help your clients, to help your business grow. And so the way that this works, the first thing, if you've ever used a tool like this, you add accounts, and you can add a variety of accounts. We've got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google+, and Pinterest. And so you would log in and sync up your accounts into Constant Contact. When you do that, they'll show up here, and I've got my Facebook account, my Twitter account. So I'll go ahead and make a tweet here. If I go in and click my face for Twitter, and I can do simultaneous posting to Facebook, I'd write my tweet out. I do have my character count here. I can add images and locations and links and things like that. Once I do that, I have the ability to send that tweet out now or schedule it. And you can see down here below, I have a scheduled post. I've got this going out a little bit later tomorrow. Here's my tweet. I can edit it. I can cancel that out. And so I can do all of my social media editing right there in Constant Contact. So rather than having to leave this environment and go to some other tool, or leave this environment and go to social media, I'm thinking about my social media while I'm also thinking about my email marketing. And that's going to be the way you want to leverage this, is that Constant Contact has now introduced a tool that helps you broaden the whole digital marketing conversation. Being able to especially manage this for clients, well, that's where I really want you to think. So if you're thinking about your managed accounts, well, having the ability to do this for your clients now introduces a whole new way for you to grow your revenue, because if you can start offering, if you're not already, offering social media marketing into your mix, well, managing all of that from one place certainly makes your life a little bit easier. Right? So in addition, not only can I make Facebook posts, tweets, etc., but I can also take a look at what's going on in my world. So if I go, let's say, into Twitter, I can see what kind of retweets and other kind of interaction I've had with my Twitter account. So this is not just scheduling social media posts, not just scheduling Twitter tweets, it's also monitoring my social media account. Again, using Constant Contact to manage and monitor my entire social media world and my email marketing world. So let's put our business hats on, right? By having Constant Contact, now you have the ability to offer more services. And if you've been talking to your account managers, you've attended some of our webinars, you know that the key to success is offering and broadening your services and making sure that you're leveraging every opportunity in Constant Contact to help you grow your business. And I'm really passionate about this one because you now have a complete new product to offer people and help them out with their marketing. So a couple of pieces around this that you'll need to know. Let me hop back in to PowerPoint. So in case you don't know, it's a $10 a month add-on. It's free to your clients until December 31st. But let's think about that $10 add-on, right? So first of all, for $10 a month for you to be able to offer this service, that's really not that unreasonable, especially if you take a look at Hootsuite Pro and tools like that to manage and monitor the social media accounts. But we think about it from a revenue standpoint, from the revenue share. Well, that's just an additional icing on the cake for you. So make sure that you're thinking about how you can leverage social posts into those existing clients, and certainly into any pitches you do with those leads. If I can just speak to the many small businesses and nonprofits I've met over the last 7 years at Constant Contact. And in case you don't know me, I've met and taught over 10,000 small businesses in my time here in nonprofits. They don't think about scheduling their social media. I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but most of them just kind of wing it, and they're just throwing out tweets. If they do it at all, they're throwing out tweets, they're throwing out posts whenever they get time. And that is not the way to work. You know that, right? We want to think about our whole marketing plan. We want to think about making sure that we're strategically thinking about our marketing long term, right? Especially, if we think about the holidays. You got to be thinking these things out. So the next thing I'd like to show you, let me hop back into Constant Contact here. The next thing, and by the way, I see the questions coming in. We do have a Q&A built into the end. We'll get to as many questions as we can. In addition, we'll be answering questions offline after the webinar as well. So don't worry, I see them all coming in. So let me hop back in. I'm going to hop into the editor here. Talk to you about some really subtle things you might have overlooked. You might have thought inconsequential. They're actually really consequential. So I'm going to create an email here. Bear with me as I get into a template. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you has been around for a few months, but I have recently talked to some solution providers that didn't know this existed. So I'm going to show this to you, but then I'm going to build upon this concept. So here's a logo, a pretty common logo. I know many of you are familiar with this particular logo, but a pretty common logo. We've got that colorful background, and it kind of just sits there like a sore thumb with that white background. And so in case you didn't know, if I click on the gear, I can click on the paint bucket, and I can match the color as long as I'm using a hex code. As long as I know the hex code, I can match the color. And now that logo is floating in that field of orange, and it's also following a best practice. I don't have a big header banner up there at the top that might get blocked and push my call to action down. A really subtle feature, but if you think about highlighting particular pieces of the email, if you want the eyeball to move to a particular piece of the email, every single block has this ability. Now, I want to highlight this. I know that this isn't particularly a brand new feature, but if we think about how Constant Contact compares to the competition and the ability to edit things like this, back in the day when we had to do HTML to do stuff like this, we can do it right now in the editor, making the process much faster and making the tool absolutely competitive. And in that spirit, I want to show you what's happened to text. Now, this is that subtle piece I told you about just a couple of seconds ago. If I come into text, what we have now, if I come into the text editor, I can underline text, right? Now, many of you might be going, ooh, that's really impressive, because what this actually signifies is a big shift in our text editor. This is actually a whole new bit of programming underneath it that's going to allow our developers to start offering in the text block here, in the text editor, great new features that I know many of you have been asking for, things like superscript, subscript, and more. And in fact, another subtle thing that we can do is, let me put in a bullet here. And now I have a sub-bullet, or a bullet below it. But by hitting tab, I can tab bullets now, right? And that's something that many of you I know asked for, and something that I would have had to get into HTML. And I'm going to back up here. And if we think about HTML, and probably, again, you've heard this from me before. I get it. I know that many of your clients require some HTML editing. I know that that's a pain point for some of you. But again, the reason why HTML can be dangerous is that HTML can inhibit mobile responsiveness and delivery. And if we think about it, there's nothing more important to you or your clients than mobile responsiveness and delivery. What's the point of sending an email out that doesn't render correctly on the device or that doesn't get delivered in the first place, right? So what you're seeing in this editor, while the ability to put in bullets and tab them forward, while that's subtle, while that's not earth-shattering, the language underneath it is going to allow us to do really great things that, again, you used to have to do with HTML. Now, in a similar vein, I want to talk to you about something I know many of you have been asking about, which is if I hover over any image, I can now remove padding or add padding. So again, those things that you used to have to get into CSS and HTML to do, now right in the editor. But I also want to show you something that I know a lot of folks have overlooked when it comes to editing. Let me go ahead and bring in another image in. I'll go ahead and use I'll use a barbecue here. So by bringing the image in, one thing that I show to every small business and nonprofit, and I've taught you this a couple of times, but make sure that you're thinking about the spacer when you're using design or when you're in design, when you're building an email, make sure you think about how you're going to use the spacer, because the spacer can be put over columns, over each one of these pieces, and you can allot more or less space to these pieces. And of course, we can allot more or less space here on the side. And so things that you used to have to get into the padding to resolve to either increase white space or decrease white space, you can do live in the editor. And again, this is going to be something that in some cases supersedes that need for HTML. And certainly the piece I just showed you, the ability to add those spacers and add or remove white space is a big crowd pleaser. People really like this ability, and I dare you to try that in one of our competitions. It's really hard to do. And while I'm speaking about my competition, I didn't mean for this to get too on the competition, but I'll tell you, if you missed that competitive webinar we did a couple months ago, this button right up here, undo, try undoing some work in one of the other editors. You make a mistake, which is really common in the small business or nonprofit world, basically having to start all over again, which is pretty frustrating. But the next thing I want to show you is in background color. So I'm going to go here to design. And the ability, of course, to change the color of the background has been around for a while. This is in itself not new at all. Of course, we can change the pattern. Now, this is industry. We are unique in the industry with this. You can't do this, certainly not as easily, and in many cases, you can't do this at all in our competition. I can change color. And in fact, we've added more patterns to the background selector, but I want to zero in on the custom background. So in the custom background, you now have the ability to upload your own tile to repeat for your clients. Now you want to be really careful with this, because you want to make sure that that's a small image, and you want to make sure that if it repeats, it's going to look good. But you can create these pieces for your clients to be unique, to make their email stand out, and this is something our competition doesn't offer. So again, Constant Contact, improving the product, adding features for you to make you competitive, to make sure that we're making your business successful. It's a fantastic and subtle addition to Constant Contact that many of you might have overlooked. All right, let's go into a brand new feature. Be willing to bet many of you don't know this one, because it's really new. So I'm going to go here into reporting. Hopefully you're familiar with our campaign reports. If I scroll down a little bit, I can now zero in on reports by list. All right, so if I go to contact lists, and I want to see just how this particular list has performed. If I'd run more campaign to this list, I would see all the campaigns that I had run on that list. I can also group lists together. So if let's take things a little technical here, or at least from an advanced standpoint. If I'm running testing, if I'm doing some split tests and I'm running campaigns across different lists, the ability to compare these lists and how they've performed against each other helps me, and ultimately helps you, make better decisions when it comes to marketing your clients. Now, honestly, I don't think that showing this is going to help you close a business. I think unless they're a pretty advanced organization that understands the concept of testing, I don't know that this is going to be one of your go-to things to show somebody. But we think about those clients that are a little more advanced, or if you feel that there's additional revenue you can pull out of them to help them be successful, well, doing things like testing campaigns and testing lists against each other, I think there's a real advantage to growing your business with this. And if we also think about the ability to zero in on one list, we can also see how that list is performing over time. If I'm taking a look at 5 or 6 campaigns I've run on a list and that thing just has not produced the kind of results that I want, well, maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board, come up with different kind of content, a different kind of call to action, maybe a different kind of flow in that template. So very subtle addition, but for those of you that are really strategic, and especially for those of you that are looking for to fit the needs of a more advanced client, and I don't mean to just suggest that this would only be for advanced folks, but I think this is a huge arrow in your quiver to be able to filter out by list. All right. Now, something else that you probably have had a hard time missing is right up here in the navigation bar. Don't know why I'm spacing on that, but it's integrations. And let's talk a little bit about integrations. So the big one you probably can't miss is Shopify. So we now have a Shopify integration. I'm going to talk specifically about that in just a moment. But I want to talk to you about why this screen is actually pretty significant to you. So, if you're talking, as you're doing lead generation, you're talking to a potential client, right? Bringing them to the screen, certainly doing due diligence of finding out what tools they're using helps you open up a whole conversation. If you're working with somebody and you find out, oh, well, they're kind of doing things the old school way and using Gmail, or maybe they have the contacts in Outlook, well, you now have an opportunity to talk to them about the fantastic synchronization that Constant Contact has with Outlook, the ability to sync those lists and pull them into Constant Contact. Certainly and absolutely, if you're working with somebody who's using WordPress, well, that's a no-brainer. Show them the integration to help them have a WordPress sign-up form that is synced with their color scheme, that's synced with the settings that they have in WordPress. But Shopify, man, if you're working with a retail leading client or a web-based business that's using Shopify, you now have a way to have a strong conversation with these people, and the fact that with the Shopify app, they can sync their list into Constant Contact automatically. It syncs every 24 hours, right? So if they're getting business off the web, if they're getting business in person using Shopify, those contacts that they're getting are automatically added to Constant Contact, and they can segment those and they can send those emails out responding to the kind of product they bought or responding to the kind of interest that they have. This is a real big deal, and I hope you're as excited as I am that we offer this. Now, a couple of things about Shopify and the app. Let me go back to PowerPoint here real quick. All right, so right now, this is only available to Email Plus customers. Is that right? No, it's available to everybody. Okay, there was some debate right at airtime on whether this was, so ignore that first bullet. This is now available to everybody. That's on me. Sorry, everybody. It is available to everybody. Once the shop is connected, it will start creating lists in sync automatically. So all they have to do is sync their store name into, from Shopify into Constant Contact. It's going to start syncing. Any manual changes that they make in Constant Contact will be undone. So it syncs every 24 hours. But if we think about ease of use, we want to have a conversation with a retail leading client, you want to have grow your business, having the Shopify app, that logo there is a really big deal. All right, next slide. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to talk about this rather than show it because it's the app, and the ability to show the app via webinar is kind of tricky. But first of all, I want to just talk about the Constant Contact app. If you haven't downloaded that into your phone, into your tablet, Android or iOS, you need to do that because it's going to help you build business. It's going to certainly help you manage your business. So on a high level, the app allows you to create emails with engaging things like buttons, with engaging content, with links, with images, a full email, send it out. You can manipulate lists. You can look at lists. You can look at campaign reports right from the app. But we've added a new feature called Quick Campaign, and that's what I'm going to be talking about for this webinar. The Quick Campaign allows retail-leaning clients or maybe some nonprofits that have kind of spontaneous experiences, spontaneous events, a new product, they need to get an email out right away. They can snap a picture with their phone, immediately add a little bit of text to it and send it out. Immediately, bam, just like that. Really fast way to send image-based emails out, a link back to the website or whatever page they want. But I want you to think about this as you have an additional product in your toolkit, right? In your tool belt, you have an additional product because having Constant Contact on the go, that should be something you talk to any client about. Certainly talk to any lead. Hey, have you seen the Constant Contact app? It's really fantastic. And of course, because you're creating it on a phone, well, you're certainly making a mobile-friendly email, right? Certainly thinking about those best practices. If you haven't downloaded the app, I encourage you to do it. It's really great, but certainly try out the Quick Campaign. I think it's going to wow some of your clients, certainly wow some of your leads. All right, we're getting up to my two favorites. I'm real excited. All right, let me hop back into Constant Contact. All right, let me head up to campaigns. Be willing to bet some of you have seen this. There's been a pop-up that kind of makes it pretty difficult to not see it, but I want to talk about strategy, and of course, if you haven't seen this, well, welcome to it. We now have a marketing calendar view. Now, the marketing calendar view from the Campaigns tab, I think this is a real deal breaker, folks. This is really showing you where Constant Contact's head is, where our developers' minds are, because, again, I'm preaching to the choir here. The small business nonprofits, they need to be thinking about their marketing plan. They need to think about 3 months ahead, 6 months ahead, a year ahead. And in having that conversation, forgive me, the ability to look at the calendar, avoid holidays, and see which campaigns they've actually already got queued up, either as a draft or as a scheduled email, is a big deal. If we're thinking about big picture here, helping them grow their business, this is a deal breaker. It's a really big deal. Now, in case you've not played with this, if you haven't gone in here, you have the ability to actually schedule emails. So if I want to go in here into tomorrow, I'm not going to go and click this because I don't want to get off the screen. But if I hit Start Email, it brings me right into the editor. I can build the email right there. If I've scheduled an email or if I haven't draft, I can click on this. I get a drop-down menu so I can actually make a copy of the email to a different date. I can see the details of that on that email when it's scheduled to go out. I can see the email or I can unschedule it. In addition, I have the ability to see holidays within the schedule. So if we think about the big picture here, and I'm going to go back to my days working in a nonprofit when I was using Constant Contact, there's nothing worse than sending out an email and you realize that it's one of those smaller holidays you didn't think about and your open rate and your click-through rate's real low. Now, do know, and the reason why I'm so excited about this, again, if you're talking big picture with a client, you're talking big picture with a lead, showing this and this opens up a whole conversation for you to increase your services and really help them think big picture. And, you know, I'm going to go back to the social posts because now Constant Contact's becoming truly a tool that helps them with all of their online marketing and digital marketing needs. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, because what you're going to start to see in this is social posts and other pieces where everything kind of comes together and helps them. Yeah, wouldn't it be amazing, Stacy? It's really exciting. And if there's kind of an undercurrent theme of my webinar today, it's where we're heading as a company. I've never been more excited about the product. I've never been more excited about the things that we're instituting into the product. And I hope that my enthusiasm for it is coming off to you, because you should be excited about the product. You have a fantastic product to help you grow your business, and it's getting better every single day. I was talking to one of my coworkers this morning, and he said, I've not seen so many updates coming into the product so fast ever. And I have to agree, I've been here 7 years. I've never seen so many features come out into Constant Contact so quickly. But with that, let me close with my last piece before we get to our superstar guest today, Paul. You like that. Let me hop back into an email. So, I could have done it from the campaign. See? And thanks for the kind words, Debbie. I'll do it from here. Let me go to the list view, and we'll go ahead and go back into this campaign. So, action blocks. I love that name, action blocks, by the way. It's very appropriate because I think there's a lot of action going on in Constant Contact in the action blocks. By the way, this is a hideous looking email now that I look at it. But if I go here to the More tab, we see the action blocks. And in case you missed it, there is a new action block. Now, this actually replaces the donation feature in the dropdown when you were selecting an email, but I think this actually improves on the whole concept. Now, first of all, you'll notice that this is an email plus feature. But if I drag this block in, it's pretty sweet. So the first thing I'm going to have to do as a nonprofit is actually create the campaign. What is it that I'm trying to collect donations on? And it's feature rich here, folks. I can actually change the title of the campaign, the description of the campaign, and set my goals. And look at that suggested donation. I can change the imagery for the campaign. I don't know that that would really elicit a lot of donations. And of course, the branding pieces, the color scheme. And I can collect that payment. So I do need to have a WePay account for that payment for that donation. There we go. I do have to have a WePay account for that donation to come in, but as a nonprofit, the ability to leverage my email to gain donations right from that email, that's a really big deal. But I know that, you know, the nonprofit's probably not a whole part of your business. I want you to think strategically about where we're heading. So if I come back to the action blocks, this is the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be more and more and more action blocks provided. And I want to share a statistic I don't know if you've heard. Action blocks increase engagement 230%. Action blocks increase click-throughs, engagement 230%. So if we're talking about getting engagement for your clients, for yourself, you want to be talking about action blocks. You want to be talking about the new editor. You want to be talking about Constant Contact. It's going to help your business grow. Now, I have one more thing before we bring Paul into the conversation. I want to share a slide with you real quick. Bear with me while I get that slide up on the screen for you. You want more learning. I know it's only an hour, and I only had 30 minutes of this hour to share stuff with you. You want to know more, make sure you're logging into the partner portal. Make sure you're going to that learning tab. We have deep dives into all of these features and more. And I want you to pay attention to Constant Contact over the next couple of months. Paul's going to show you a couple of features coming, but I think one of the hardest things in my job is knowing what I know is coming in the product and not being able to talk about it. It kills me. But Paul's going to share some things with you that I think will get you pretty excited. So bear with me just one second. Let me switch control over to Paul.
All right.
All right, Paul, here we go.
All right. My slides are not as pretty as yours. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, so I am truly excited to be able to share some of the things that we've been working on with you. The first of which is subject line A/B test. This is a new campaign type that we're offering from the campaign picker. It's real simple. The users need a way to test different subject lines to see what works. We want to see what's more engaging. The solution it came up with was the ability to be able to test the same email with 2 different subject lines. In the past, you would have to have created 2 different lists and have split them up evenly, and then created 2 different campaigns and then send them both out and then see what the results were. Now we're doing it all within one campaign. So when you select a list, we'll automatically randomize and split the list. And based on which one is the winner, we'll send the remainder, the winning subject line. So the value of this is increases contact engagement, opens and clicks, and again, it's all about that engagement score. So here's what it looks like. You know what? I'm going to just actually bring it behind the curtain.
Oh boy.
Let's go. This could fail miserably or fail beautifully, but I'm going to bring you into our test environments to show you what this looks like. All right. Let me switch screens here. All right. So this is my test account on our test environment. And just logging in here, I'm going to hit on the campaign picker. So this is a new campaign type, and it is available in the campaign picker to start. This is in beta, so we have a little over 100 different users testing this for us right now. And when you come in, you'll create a 3G email like you normally would. You can put in any of the contents you want. You can put in your action blocks. But when you get to the schedule page is where we have the new feature. Is on the schedule page, you'll be able to select what list you want it to go to. And then for the testing, you'll be able to set which subject lines you want it to have. So if you can imagine, you can have 2 subject lines here, and then you can, let me just fill this out with something so you can see. The percentages is who you want to send to for the test. You can control this either by directly manipulating this, or we can grow and scale with this. Whatever the remainder is what it's going to go to. So if we sent this out to 25% and 25%, then we set the duration. How long do you want it to declare a winner? 6 hours to 48 hours. And then the remainder will go out to them. And then let me go back to my slides here, my not so pretty slides. Seeing that? You've seen how you set up the subject lines? Here's what it looks like on the details page. This is from an actual client who is a gardener, and they sent out 2 different subject lines. This is that's how I want my African violets to look, to 25%, and these violets in a bay window will wow you, to 25%. And the winner was the second one, that it will wow you, and we were able to send that out and increase their open rates. Next up, yeah.
Hit the wrong button there. So Paul, I want to talk just a little bit about A/B tests.
Sure.
You know, first of all, if your mouth isn't agape right now, like when they showed this to me, oh my God, you know, if you've worked with small business or nonprofits, you know that subject line's a pain point, right? And I get really excited about how this is going to grow your business. I get really excited about how this is going to help your clients, because the ability to know which subject line works, well, that's a no-brainer, right? The ability to go with that winner, to have all of this automated is amazing. It's fantastic. And I think as a wow moment, when you're showing a lead, this feature, I think you've got them as a client. It's just that good. Now, we've had a couple of questions come in, Paul. It's okay if you don't know, because I'm not sure the answer to this first one, but do we have any idea, is this going to be an add-on or is this going to be built in the product?
This is built into the product. Most likely it's going to start out in Email Plus, but our growing strategy now is to have these newer features available in the Plus packages, and as we introduce more new features, is that these will come down in package.
Awesome. And the other question, and I forgive me, everybody, there's just a million coming in right now. I saw a question about the time delay. Yeah. And can you describe a little bit about how adjustable that time delay is?
Yeah, it's let me go back in the product and I can show you. So it is right now between 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, and 48 hours. That's what we're going out with to start. So after 6 hours, we'll look at the open rates between the two, and that's when we'd send the winner. But you can configure that. So if you need more time for this thing to sit, maybe you think that your people open them, the next day, then you can set it for 24 hours. Yeah. All right. Are we moving on to the next?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
All right. Let me jump back into the slides here.
There are more questions. There's just limited time.
Okay. Am I up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where'd my deck go? 1 second. I lost it. Can you go to your slides? And
everything else is slide based?
Yeah, we'll see what else I can show the product.
All right, we're going to switch back over to my screen. Just 1 second, everybody.
I'm good. If you want to pass back to me, I gotcha.
Oh, you got it? All right. All right, let me head back to that. There you go, Paul.
All right, sorry about that. Okay, for the next piece, it's sign-up forms and pop-ups. So what was the problem we were trying to solve? We wanted to find new and more engaging tools for people to grow their lists. What we wanted to do for the solution was we wanted to be able to easily be added to any web page, no maintenance required, and configurable pop-ups. So for those of you who have used our sign-up forms in the past, it was one big long piece of code, and you had to paste that into your website. And then if you made any revisions to that form in the product, they did not reflect on the website. You have to grab a new piece of code, put it on the website, and update it. And if you're managing multiple clients, this can be a time suck. So what we've done with this is we've made it so that you embed a piece of code onto the website, and then it automatically pulls from whatever the published version is in the account. So this means there is absolutely no maintenance required. It's one step to drop it into the site, and then everything is done within the product. The next thing we were adding was configurable pop-ups to make sure that we are capturing new contacts at the right moment. So if you can imagine that you're looking at a site and they're getting interest, maybe they're on the site for 5-10 seconds, and that's when you want to say, hey, do you want to sign up for our list? And that's what we can do. This is another one that I think that I can show in product. So let me jump over this account.
So while Paul's doing that, I'm gonna be a cheerleader here. I mean, this is a really big deal, everybody. I'm, again, probably preaching to the choir, but the ability to have pop-ups in the first place, pop-ups significantly increase, significantly. I don't have the stats on, you might have them at your fingertips, but the stats for sign-ups with a pop-up are staggering. And the ability to have those configurable based on experience, this is a really big deal that's going to help you grow your business. So Paul's ready. I'll let him go ahead and show it off.
Yeah, no problem. So for pop-ups, so this is our new sign-up form editor. If you'll see it, it looks a lot like Galileo, our 3G editor. You can edit any of the fields. You can change the colors. It's pretty simple. You can add in more contact fields. You can make certain fields required if you wish. But the beauty of this is really about the settings. Here's the timing. So here's where you can say that you want this sign-up form to display on a timer after 1 second, 15 seconds. And then also an exit intent. So if they're reaching for the close button or the back button or going to another website, that's when we can pop this as well. So it's all about capturing them at the right time.
I'm assuming, I haven't scrolled through the question, I'm assuming we're going to see a similar question about pricing, and is this going to be what level of the package?
Yeah, so this one is going to be introduced first in Email Plus, but it does have the ability to be it'll be an add-on when we first release it. So you'll have one pop-up with a fixed timing in email, and then if you wanted any more flexibility or more pop-ups, then there would be an add-on charge.
And forgive me, I saw a question come in. If you address this, what are we looking at for delivery on this?
Sure. So the sign-up forms themselves, the first version, just without the pop-ups with a new editor, that is being released to trialers currently. And then we're going to be slowly migrating people off of what we had the embedded forms before. We'll be migrating them over to this new version. And that'll be through Q1, Q2 of 2018.
Awesome, awesome. Go ahead and continue with your next thing. Just blowing me away with these, man.
All right. Let me get back into the deck. Here we go. All right. Click segmentation. So this is actually really cool. So what's the problem? So you need an easy way to target recipients who have expressed an interest, right? If they've opened up your email and they've clicked on something, what do you do with them then? So what we wanted to create was a simple solution. We wanted to be highly visible, intuitive, and familiar experience what you're already doing in the editor. And it also had to do real-time segmentation. So once somebody clicked on that link, we needed to do something with them. And we also want to make this a stepping stone to automation. A lot of our novice users are not quite ready for automation and not sure how to get into it, and this is a lightweight way to get in there. And the value for us, or for the customers, it automatically segments your recipients based for visibility and for future follow-ups. So let me jump in here. For this one, you know what? I have something else here. My UX team was kind enough to put this together for me because this isn't quite in our editor, but this is what it's going to look like. When you're inserting a link, this should look really familiar. There will be a new option here to enable list segmentation. So all you do is you click on this, and then you'll be able to say which list you want to add contacts to that click on this link. So it can either be an existing list here, or you can create a new list. So you can create a new list right within the editor, and then anybody that clicks on this when you send it out is going to be added to that list. Pretty cool.
That's amazing, and you know, I don't even think I need to say anything to you on this, folks. But first of all, those of you that use tags and segmentation in any kind of work that you do with a client, with a lead, or if you speak one-to-many, you know that usually half the group gets the idea, the other half of the group you have to work with. But I mean, certainly if you're starting to talk about segmentation with your audience, with your lead, with your client, you're opening up whole new doors to growing your service, because obviously segmentation and thinking that strategically about their business is a big deal, and the fact that this helps you do that is amazing. And I'm not going to put Paul in a corner here. I just want you to think about where this can go in the product. I'm not going to say anything, but man, the future is bright at Constant Contact. Go ahead, Paul, show them your next piece there.
You got it. So for the reporting on this, when you're looking at your details page of your email, we'll be able to see, you know, here's that link, and here's a special link. Here's one that you said, you know, if people click on this link, they add them to, you know, that list, so that you can differentiate between the links that you have in your email. And then remember, this is a stepping stone automation. So if you can get those contacts into a specific list, then you can start the next conversation is, why don't you start an automated series to follow up with those contacts?
And hopefully, you know, I mean, automation, that's the deal breaker. You get somebody involved with automation. Now you're talking to them about the whole package. They're obviously now a client or a lead that is going to be spending a lot of time with you, and you're going to really be shepherding them to be successful, which I know is ultimately all of our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, automation is a personal favorite of mine.
It's mine too. You know, we didn't mean to get on the automation high horse here, but I mean, automation, especially with the way the tool works now, and like I can put us into a corner with future stuff. But I mean, with this feature that Paul just showed, this really increases the value of automation. And you know, you tie segmentation, automation, our easy-to-use editor, our industry-leading features and tools. I don't see how Constant Contact's not your go-to when you're talking about email marketing. I just don't see it. I don't understand how you talk about almost anything else.
And if I didn't say it before, click segmentation will be available in all packages. Automation is obviously only available in our Plus packages. This next one is a personal favorite of mine. This one I've actually been working on for a while personally. This is the Branded Template Builder. I don't know how good way to describe this. Why don't I just, so what the problems are? Well, our new customers, they don't see themselves in our email templates. One of our greatest benefits is that we have this extensive template library. We have over 100 different templates that anybody can select from. But sometimes that's overwhelming. That the person comes in, they don't know how to select a template. Are they selecting it by its purpose, by the color, by the images, by how many columns it has? It can be really intimidating. So what we wanted to do was create a solution where we can pull key brand assets from their website and apply them to a few simple templates. We really take out the questions out of this. And for the value, it's decreased time spent finding the right template. And for us, it's increased first send success. We want to get them to see what it's like when they actually have people coming in the store and say, hey, I saw your email. And also for us, it's also about conversion. If once they get that early success, then they're more likely to be a customer. Let me see if I have a website here. So this is one that was run through SwitchUp Inc. Let me see if I can get that website. 1 second here. So I'm going to run this thing through. Show you exactly how it works.
Some of you might recognize some of these brands.
All right. So this is really behind the covers because nobody has access to this. Here we go. 1 second.
So while Paul's loading that up, I'll just, the strategy for this, I think, kind of, again, speaks for itself. But, we were talking about this in the office, and I mean, especially, I think, if you're talking about those, I think this is pretty cool for any client you're trying to land that you're going to manage, but I think this is just one more tool that we're offering to convert those referrals that you send us. I mean, beyond our fantastic sales team that's going to convert those people into customers so that you get that revenue share, this is one more amazing tool in the fact that they can load up these websites for that trialer and have templates ready for them to go. I think there's just a lot of advantages to this. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. So this feature actually will scan either a website or a Facebook page. And even if it does find a website, it'll actually it'll scrape through and find their Facebook page. So in a few short seconds, what we do is we take their website, we go out to it, we start scanning it, we find the logo, we find the colors, we start looking for their social URLs, and we build out some template options. So if you see the next screen here, it's going to pop up. We're doing a lot of crunching right now. And what we do is we create a few really simple templates based on what we found on their website. We take a screenshot of their website, we grab the colors from that, we grab some logos, and we did an extensive amount of testing on this. And what we found was that there are so many different things that could have been their logo that it's up to the user to decide what it is. So this one we believe that we got right, and their branding for the orange and the blues. And they can see these 3 templates that we automatically created for them, but they can cycle through and see if there's something else that might have looked better. So we're grabbing any image that could have been a logo or a featured image right from their website. So if it wasn't right the first time, they can cycle through it and they can find something. If I get back to the top here, so you can preview the email and see how it looks in desktop or in a mobile device. And then you can select the template and go right into the editor. But if you can imagine, you could just have this screen when you're talking to your new clients and say, how do you think about email marketing if I were to be able to show you this? You can just take a screenshot of that and send it off to them. And a new feature that we're working on right now is that we're scraping for their social media links and then asking them to see if that's the actual thing. And they can check that here. If not, then they can update it. And when they create their email, it'll automatically be added to those links inside the campaign.
So I can imagine a couple of your heads are spinning, your wheels are spinning, and this isn't meant to supplant or surpass what you do for clients and branding their emails. I think this is just going to be a tool that, and we haven't figured out the marketing and how we're delivering this, but I ultimately can see where this is just going to be one more tool that you can use when you need it. It's not something that would be available for people to just do on their own. And again, I could really see a big advantage to this in the referral part of your business and getting that referral revenue share. And Paul, you had one more, or was that it?
That's it. I have some more examples of this if you'd like to see it.
Oh yeah, let's show them one more, and then we'll start getting the questions. I know people are getting pretty itchy on that.
So based on the website, you can see how it's taking their branding right in and their logo and just quickly creating an email for them. Here's Fast Turtle, Fab Marketing, and Silver Knight Solutions.
And all these just took seconds to produce, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I'm going to take control back from Paul. Now, do know Paul's not going anywhere. He's going to answer questions with me. So bear with me, everybody, as I switch back here. But I do want to share some information about some upcoming things going on in the solution provider program, and then we'll get to your questions. So let me make sure this is showing. All right. So 3 quick things I want to tell you. First, I want to reiterate some of the exciting new benefits of becoming or being a certified solution provider. Certification, as you may know, is a short 20-minute exam to test your product knowledge and best practice acumen. And once you pass the exam, you'll unlock Constant Contact branded seminar content that you can customize and go out to your local market to host your own Constant Contact or email marketing themed events. This is an incredible way to fill your funnel. But most importantly, this is an incredible way for you to boost your services revenue. And I think if there's one kind of theme in this webinar, it's about boosting your service revenue, getting that additional income by offering additional services to people. And the content we'll give you has been thoroughly tested in the field to boost conversions and sell Constant Contact. What's more is that we will even help you promote these events on our blog's event calendar and via bi-weekly emails to tens of thousands of contacts in each of your regions. One more thing, if you're certified, you can opt into speaker lead sharing. Constant Contact gets asked every single day to host events all over North America. These leads, if you're local, you're qualified, you can be opted in to receive them, and they'll go straight to you. Now, if you're wondering how this $50 certification exam investment can turn into thousands of dollars in services revenue, call your account manager right now, or at least right when we wrap up. Second, our Back to Business Fall program is in full swing, and we have created this landing page, you'll see the URL here, to point you to the best and most helpful resources we've created to help you grow your business and those of your clients. We cover everything from building your referral client pipeline to offering services, adding integrations to Constant Contact, basic product and program knowledge. And we even showcase some of the affiliate programs available to you from our Endurance International Group sister companies. Finally, and this one blows me away, it's the holidays. You're not talking to people about the holidays. It's growing to be too late. Our team here is putting the final touches on our holiday program, which will run from October to the end of December, obviously. We have holiday-themed resources to include seminar content, prizes, exclusive discounts, and much more. It'll be an opt-in program, so keep an eye on those emails, those newsletters we send you every Monday for more information. By the way, if you're not receiving those emails, guess who we can turn to? Call your account manager. So one thing I want to share before we get to those questions, I've said it twice now, call your account manager. If you have questions about leveraging the program, about growing your service business, call your account manager. They're your absolute #1 resource in helping you get more money for your business, growing your business. Call your account manager. Now let me get to the part where I'm sure, I know we've got lots of questions. I can't even imagine how many there are in here. But let me go ahead and get to some here. So let's see. If you're choosing the image of social, I just lost that one. Okay, here's a good one, and feel free to jump in on this one, Paul, but I think it's going to be more directed to me.
Sure.
When you share stats with an audience, how do you overcome the comment that, of course, you recommend Constant Contact or work for them or receive some benefit from them? You know, Carolyn, so first of all, those stats that I shared with you at the beginning, and that's what I'm assuming you were referencing, is those fantastic stats about Constant Contact versus the competition. Those are referenced. There is a reference you can actually talk about. That's a third party. I can't remember the name of it. One of you two might be able to tell me. It was Uconnector or something of that nature. The stats.
Yeah, I think it was on the slide.
Yeah, it was on the slide. I don't want to go off of this and lose my place. But I mean, those are verified. That was done by a third party. So. And it's called Measuring You. Wow, technology. Measuring You. They're the ones that did that the research. And so, you know, Carolyn, I would just say this has been done by a third party. But, you know, if you feel uncomfortable with sharing that information, I mean, you're there to sell Constant Contact in your business. I mean, when I'm pressured like that, you know, hey, well, I'm here to show you the best email marketing tool that's going to help your business or nonprofit grow. You shouldn't shriek away from that. Those statistics are fantastic. And, you know, again, if you feel like you need some energy or some oomph behind those numbers that I shared with you, go use the competition. Square off an hour. Get trial accounts for 2 or 3 of the bigger players out there. We're the biggest, of course, but the 2 or 3 bigger players out there, and try to build a basic email. You go off and enjoy that experience because, and what I want you to do is, if you're going to do that, put yourself in the shoes of a small business or nonprofit with the phone ringing off the hook, with meetings going on, and try to build an email in the same time you would build Constant Contact. Obviously, you've been using Constant Contact for a while. You're going to know to navigate it, but I want you to try to put yourself in their shoes. It's unbelievable how confusing some of those products are. And again, the basic undo feature is huge. The ability to undo work that you feel like, oh, this didn't look right, I didn't like the way this looked. Heaven forbid you try to put text and an image in one of those competitors. It's a nightmare to try to get that stuff undone once you start to build it. So I'd encourage you, you want to support those stats, go try them. Go try them. Do a taste test. Let me get to some other questions here. Great question, Carolyn. Let me get down to my flagged questions here. You want to talk a little bit here about the social posts and the image and what's going on there? I have a couple questions related around that.
Yeah, so Facebook has recently updated their API so that they can prevent spammers, basically, Facebook spam. And what they're not allowing you to do is choose which image to use. So what does this mean? It means that you need to have more prominent images and make it 1 or 2 featured images that you want to use for your emails, and that's what it can pull from. If you have a lot of images, it can be a little overwhelming, and then Facebook is going to choose whatever it wishes. But the idea is behind it is that Facebook wants to prevent spammers.
That makes sense. This will be a similar question, probably for both of us, but I'll let you tackle it first, Paul. What's the benefit for adding padding? If the goal is to keep the content high up above the scroll line, especially mobile, why would people even bother wanting padding?
Purely design. Yeah. Aesthetically, some people believe that they need more white space. That's sort of the interest in line height in order to increase the space between lines, which actually is coming in the new editor.
Nice.
But it's aesthetically pleasing. Some people need everything to line up perfectly. Other ones need everything to float. It really depends on the designer.
And that's ultimately why I showed the spacer, because between removing padding, adding padding, and the spacer, and the ability to move those columns side to side, you really do have a lot of design flexibility without involving tables or HTML, CSS. Another question here, and this is a theme a couple of you have asked. Are we looking at resend, a feature to resend emails that haven't been opened?
Yes. Yes, we are. So we've always been looking at our automation roadmap, and it's one of the things that is the most easily digestible among our customer base. We've looked at, do you want to trigger emails based on when somebody clicks on something, when somebody opens on something? And what we heard predominantly among our more novice users is that they feel that is, it's like Big Brother. That they wouldn't want somebody doing that to them, so they're not going to do it to somebody else. But there is growing interest in automation, and one of the first things that they seem receptive to is sending to non-openers. Would you like to remind them that you sent this email? And it is something that we're definitely looking into, and will be on our roadmap for 2018.
Do you have any, and forgive me for just going question to question to question, these don't have any kind of convenient segs,
I'm kind of used to it.
but do you have any idea on the best practice for split testing, like percentages, how long to wait between the decisions? Have you done any research on that?
I haven't done it personally, but it really depends on the size of your list. You need a list of 1,000 or more to make this really effective. If I talk to my BI folks, they're going to tell me you need a list of 10,000. But no, I think that you need a list of about 1,000 to make this really effective. And if you have a list of about that, then 20% should do it. So 20% to test A, B, and then the 60% remainder would be go to the winner.
I can actually see the questions as you went through different topics. Can we customize the response after people sign up? Is that something you're looking at? So from the pop-up, the sign-up, join my mailing list.
Sure, like the thank you message.
Yeah, because right now it just says, thanks, you've been added to our list.
Right now that is just static text. We can look at adding some customization to that. But we can always add on to these features. The important thing is to make sure that they are immediately intuitive to our users so that they start to use them. We never want to make something too complex or have is too feature rich, because they won't wind up using it. It'll be too confusing and won't step into it.
We're moving over to now the segmented click.
Yeah.
So I had a question, is there a way to do this with tags? There is, but it's not as clean and automated. Is that where you would go?
Yeah. For visibility, we're sticking with lists. We know that tags have a place, and they are definitely effective for internal organization. but we are sticking with the list for now. We are also thinking about how we actually handle our lists, and whether it be that there are some that are internal, but also moving forward is that we are looking at doing more things like user-defined segments, so that you'll be able to set up a query to be able to figure out who meets those credentials without having to tag things or make a static application on each one of those contacts. Is that you'll be able to do it in real time.
And I think that kind of segmentation, I mean, you know, I don't know how many of you have been out there trying to teach people what tags are, talk to them. It is something that takes novice users a little while to understand the concept, and I think the more that we can automate this and simplify it, it just increases your opportunity to increase your services and make more money. This is going to be the last question. Now, by no means is this the last question I've gotten. We've been furiously answering questions behind the scenes. There's still plenty out here. I do want to address a couple of themes that I've seen in here, which is how do I know when a business is too big for Constant Contact, or what's the best way to pitch this group or that group? I'm going to rely back onto those same four words that I said a couple minutes ago. Call your account manager. Call your account manager. They are there to share examples of your kind of questions, or share their experience and their insight. And so those kind of questions are perfect for them. But I'm going to throw you under the bus, Paul.
Okay, I'm ready.
Is the social share campaign block coming to the new editor?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I can hear thousands or hundreds of people saying yay. Well, with that, hey, Paul, thank you for joining me today. That was really great. And hopefully, everybody, you're as excited as I am. You know, this is the tip of the iceberg, everybody. There's stuff. I mean, we're sitting there debating what to show you. I mean, we're going to hold stuff for later webinars. You know, the pipeline is full, and there's amazing features that are going to help you grow your business, help you grow your client's business, and help small businesses and nonprofits succeed. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a solution provider with Constant Contact. Your success literally is our success. We want to do anything and everything we can to help you be successful. And of course, that starts by making sure you're visiting the partner portal, making sure that you're up to date with all the product features and training we have there, making sure that if you're interested in becoming certified, you do so. Make sure you watch our regular webinars, which I know you'll do because you're on this one. And most importantly, make sure you connect to your account manager. They're there to help you grow. And with that, everybody, don't forget we did record this webinar. We'll be getting a copy out to you. Everybody have a great day. Be successful. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, everybody.